Before anything, I gotta say, this show sucks. Like, I would never recommend it to anybody, and I would never continue watching it if it wasn't for a video. But it's not that bad. Like, we've definitely seen worse. I was not originally planning on making a video about this show, but after seeing this huge wave of hate for this show, I just had to check it out. You know, I was ready to just see a bunch of episodes of just
somehow Palpatine returned.
Me encanta esta vaina.
Ray Skywalker.
You keep driving, you black spear chucking piece of shit!
But instead, it was a bunch of bad to okay writing, a bunch of inconsistent acting, and just dumb mistakes that could have easily been avoided. And that overall sums up to be a pretty bad show, but not like the worst shit I've seen in my life. The only thing I've been seeing online is a bunch of people going crazy on this show and saying it's the worst thing ever and it is a complete overreaction. This isn't even the worst Disney Star Wars show that is coming out. I am telling you right now, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I am taking The Acolyte over The Book of Boba. The Book of Boba was a complete waste of time and it was just so boring. At least this show has something. I like the idea of The Acolyte, they just executed it horribly, but the overall idea of an assassin on the loose killing a bunch of Jedi, I think it's a cool idea. What I think could have made this show better is instead of doing this generic switching to the other side and going back to the light side, we've seen enough of that in Star Wars. Just make a show where May is the main character and is a straight revenge story. May is a villain and she is just assassinating a bunch of Jedi. I think it would have been a lot cooler and it would have been unique to Star Wars. Imagine a Sith assassin show. This concept already exists in Star Wars. Sith assassins are a thing, but a whole show about one could have gone crazy. But of course, it's that simple just switching back to the light side thing that we've seen a million times in Star Wars and in movies in general. This is why I don't think this show is that bad, because the overall concept of it is a good idea, but once again, they just shit the bed with the execution. So why are people just giving this show no mercy? Remember when I said in the beginning about those dumb mistakes? Yeah, people are not so happy with them. Before the show even came out, the actors and the director of the show did an interview, and it was probably the worst interview I have seen in my life. Not because it was awkward or boring, because it just completely turned everyone against them before the show even came out. They said two things that everyone is going off on. These two things became like the greatest duo of all time, like some Magic Kareem shit. They go hand in hand with each other, and the first one is magic, and it to the other one. To start it off, one of the actors said,
"But you can't look and see that Anakin blowing up the Death Star possibly killed millions and millions of people."
I'm gonna try to give this dude the benefit of the doubt, because I think he just misspoke. I don't actually think Anakin blew up the Death Star, because if you look at the context of what he was saying, he was talking about how Vader is portrayed as the villain for most of the movies, but Luke, which he called Anakin, blew up a huge ship and killed millions, so it's all about perspective. But you know, the internet has no mercy, and they clown this man like crazy. The second thing that they said was just brain dead.
This is arguably the gayest Star Wars, I think, by a considerable margin. This is going to be a talking point.
Is it going to be a talking point?
I'm sure some.
Because nerds are gay.
Well, well, some nerds are very threatened by gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true. But
Yeah.
in my world, nerds are gay.
Okay.
You're telling me with a straight face that C-3PO is straight. I think it's canon that R2-D2 is a lesbian.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Ask Filoni.
Ask for
My goodness. The first clip, I try to give an explanation and save them a little bit, but this one, I got nothing. Like, I have no explanation. It's just complete, I don't even know. You did this to yourself. A huge thing that gets pushed now is to not generalize a group of people, because there are some people that fit in that group, but not in that general belief of what that group means or does. I mean, this is textbook 101 of doing exactly that. And not only, it's just completely false. I've never in my life heard that nerds are generally gay. Like, truly, not one time have I heard that stereotype, And that's because it doesn't exist. The reason why these two clips go hand in hand with each other is because the first one, even though I don't think it's fair, but it shows a level of ignorance to the lore of the show you are making. And then the second one shows, I hate this word because it's so overused now and just cringe, but it shows the wokeness that a lot of people love to hate. There is another clip. I didn't group it up with the other ones because it wasn't the same interview, but
when people watch The Hate You Give, what do you want them to walk away with? Because I know everyone has a slightly different feeling.
Well, I mean, white people crying actually was the goal.
yeah, I mean, I really don't know what to say. It's the same thing with that other clip. It's just nothing, no explanation, no reason why to say this. It's just telling you, if you search up how to ruin your show before it even comes out, all these clips will pop up. What I think is funny is the girl thinks it's okay to say that. And I promise you, all the other people that work with her on the show also thought it was fine for her to say that. If you said the goal for this show is to make black people mad, yeah, you shouldn't say that. And also, that is a terrible goal to have for a show. But for some reason, these idiots think it's okay to say if it's white people though. Even if you agree that it's okay to say or do that, you know that it's going to only hurt the show, right? Like, I would hope everyone watching this can agree that only negative things come from doing that. It is just so brain dead to say all these things. All you are doing is getting people not only mad at you, but to hate you and your show. Now to circle back to my question, why are people showing no mercy to this show? It is because the actors made people not only angry, but to hate their show and want nothing more but to see this show fail. After those things were said, this show had a negative chance to be received well. If the show was good, even though it's not, but if it was, people were still gonna hate either way. If the show was mid, even though it's not, but if it was, people are gonna hate. Where we are right now is that it's a bad show and people are going to say it's the worst shit they've ever seen. But in reality, it's not that bad.
All right, play off the grid.
We off the grid.